By the way, that is a law too, so it's something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, from the northeast to the northwest, another atmospheric river is taking aim at parts of the western U.S. But what exactly does that mean? Monica Danielle explains. Well, that atmospheric river works in the northwest, as we've been talking about this morning. It misses most of the north central going into Canada, so we keep things pretty quiet, fairly dry, especially as we close out the weekend here. But boy, the mild air is coming in, and it is a taste of spring that you will certainly want. Check out some of these numbers here. We had the 50 in Des Moines, 52 in Sioux. There's a lot more warmth to come, though. Your Monday afternoon numbers could be in the 50s for southern Minnesota, certainly in the 60s here as you look across portions of Illinois. So real big time warmth pushing in for what is still a February day. Starting off this 46 for the high tomorrow afternoon. There's more warmth to come as we push into Tuesday, especially across some of the high plains in Nebraska, Kansas. This is where we will find those numbers punching their way into the 60s. And because of that, when you look at where we were Thursday morning with those record-setting low temperatures, what a difference it makes. You talk about a couple days here, and we've turned things around by 70 to almost 100 degrees. So it has really tipped the scales quite a bit. Minneapolis, Minnesota coming in the 40s, and you will note here we're well above historical average. We hold the warmth even into Wednesday and Thursday, even though we'll shave off a couple degrees. Power outages during winter can be dangerous if you're at home, and AccuWeather meteorologist Tony Lawback has some tips to stay safe when the lights go out as cold weather stays in. Great tips. Thankfully, the southeast, we are finished with the winter power outages. We've seen our share. I mean, the Gulf Coast snow and also the recent snow across the mid-Atlantic, several rounds of ice. But we are turning the page here, too. Take a look at the numbers. 66 for the high in Jacksonville. We head up to 57 in Atlanta, back to 50 in Nashville. It feels like such a difference. Even Raleigh heads into the mid-50s for highs with sunshine. But note here what we're looking at here off towards the south. We've got the heavy rain in Jackson, New Orleans. This is really where we'll see that soaking time along the Gulf, because we will be dealing with a low pressure system moving through it. And as it continues to push its way eastward, it impacts Florida with a lot of the heavy rain as we go throughout the day on Monday. So you want to keep the rain gear handy. It's going to turn awfully wet here. And we do need the rain, by the way. Drought conditions remain still in moderate to severe category across Florida. Also keep in mind that Florida tends to get their fire season April through May. So this is where we do want to make sure that we're paying attention to getting the moisture now, because we won't have that many opportunities a little bit later on to have a significant change in the weather pattern. Here we are tracking this low, pretty wet across Louisiana, southeastern Louisiana as we move through today. Then that starts to move into the Florida Panhandle overnight. There will be rain for many across the southeast even as you work your way towards I-20, but the heaviest rain is I-10 on south, and that continues to work its way into central Florida as we work our way into Monday. And Monday morning, you're starting off wet there in central Florida. Rumbles of thunder will be added to the day, especially across southern Florida, and we'll keep that moisture moving through right into Monday evening as the wet weather continues to try to slide its way into the Atlantic. So it does turn out to be a little wet for your Monday in places like Tampa. The showers and thunderstorms likely, but much at this point in the winter, the snowpack continues to just pile up. Different layers of snow building, and in the mountainous terrain throughout the western U.S. most especially, it can be dangerous too. We've actually seen. Well, of course, as we look across the Northeast, we can get some of those sites through some of the high terrain, northern New Hampshire, for example. But thankfully, not just yet. Of course, that all comes from differences in the snowpack. Obviously, that's what makes avalanches much more susceptible, and we've certainly got a lot of it. Some spots 3, 4, 5 feet of snow or greater across the interior Northeast. One of the usual spots coming in off of Lake Ontario, where lake effect snow really enhances the numbers, and lake effect snow across New York this season. If you're a snow lover, you got to be here, right? We're talking 15 plus feet for several different locations here as you look around upstate New York, just coming in off of those Great Lakes. So it really does make a difference when we talk about inches here, 200 plus inches, and this is really nothing for them for a winter season, fairly typical run-of-the-mill kind of setup when we talk about lake effect snow. We still have some more snow in those locations coming in off of Lake Ontario. This is just kind of a weak disturbance hitting around, and you also have some working its way off Lake Superior over northern Wisconsin. A couple flakes coming down, probably not amounting to much given the mild air trying to move into some of the upper Midwest and across New England. It's more of a nuisance snow shower setup. Can still make the roads a little slippery, but overall not huge factors. Your Sunday, high pressure in control, will still be fairly bright for most out there as we continue to deal with what is a cooler pattern on the I-95 corridor, but not cold. I mean, this is February after all. We're starting to see tomorrow, well, all of a sudden we're above historical average. And in fact, we keep pumping some of the warmth around this high pressure system, which does start to shift its way Monday off the East Coast. Well, it does that, by the way, it's going to take our numbers up and away. 49 in New York City. Again, mid-40s is historical average for us, so we'll be up there. Mid-50s for Washington, D.C. at 57 when we should be in the lower 50s. That's a difference. And Pittsburgh, you'll be about 10 degrees above historical average as we hit 51 for that high. So very mild trend here in the numbers as we head through Monday. Does come with some precipitation. Note here across the Northeast, we've got a little bit more of that cold air coming in, a couple of snow showers out there for your Sunday evening, but even that is few and far between. And then we await the next storm system. Bit of a cold front here trying to work its way on through Canada. It doesn't have a lot of moisture on the southern side of it, but it does allow for some rain to break out Monday night into late Monday into Tuesday here as we move through time, and that will continue to push its way off the East Coast there. So it's going to mean, all right, now we go to the Southeast, and you can see some of the numbers here. Nashville, 50 degrees for your high. Raleigh, 55 for the day. Beautiful weather if you're not dealing with some of the moisture from this this low pressure system in the Gulf. That is what is creating the rain. It continues to do so as you work into central and southern Florida for tonight into tomorrow. This could mean some localized flooding. It's beneficial rain, though. We do need it. There's some fog to start off the day in Houston. Things will get better later on, but New Orleans, it's going to be a slow day for you as you deal with the weather.